What's cracking, people? It's your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high-level technicians operating globally and beyond. So listen, today I wanted to pretty much put a bow on the series of healing, and this is a video that I cannot post on the YouTube side because in this particular upload I'm going to go into the specifics of sexual healing. Now, this is something that happens on multiple levels in terms of a masculine master's relationship with himself and the women in his life, and by extension the women on his roster. So basically we really got to get down to the nitty-gritty, the men's reproductive health aspect of it, the ratchet aspect of it, and basically what it means for you as a man, as a real man, to position yourself and to position your roster positions to maximize your sexual healing. Because at the end of the day, our ability to master our sexual selves sets us up to master all the other elements of our lives and ultimately be able to affect the world as we see it, and we can mold things in the image that we want to mold them in. So let's get started. So basically it starts with the ownership of your length, your girth, your stamina, and your grooming. Now, a lot of men know that in my world of adult exotic entertainment, our basic entry and basically our resume and our job interview includes getting asshole naked in front of a group of people, and it could be anybody from the general manager of the club to the waitresses to the bartenders to whomever is in that space during the time of the interview. And in that moment you have to lay bare everything that you're bringing to the table, and that moment is the moment where your rank, not necessarily rank, but what your position is determined, because that's one of those come to self, come to honesty moments. Whereas in that space you can't lie, in that space you can't hide who you truly are, in that space you're completely exposed, and so you have to own your shit in order to be successful. The same thing that applies there, I take from that space and I apply it here. In order to be a real man, you have to be who you are, exposed at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day. That is the basis for establishing a firm foundation and a basis in reality. Because when you walk out of your house or your place of residence every day as a man, the buck stops with you. You cannot pass off your agency to someone else. You are the one who is responsible for how your world is shaped. And so these exercises are what I've found and that I pass on to my clients and pass on to my coaching clients regarding how to take an honest look at yourself, and not to be ashamed, but to embrace it, and then put in elements that support, enhance, and maximize what you are naturally endowed with. So beyond the ownership of yourself, we need to take into account that most men don't get sex on the regular. I'll say that again. Most men, I don't care if you want to call them beta, if you want to call them blue pill, certainly married men don't tend to get sex on the regular basis, at least at home. They can get it on outside the house, but a lot of married men tend to not have sex on the regular. So when they can get it, they're not necessarily patient when they get it. They're very sporadic. It's on the low. It's in a dark place. You have to travel to go somewhere and get it on the sneak. What I teach masculine masters is that the sexual experience should be included in your protocols. It shouldn't be some happenstantial thing unless you are planning on it to be that. Because when you enter the realm of sexual interaction, so many things can be going on different levels, primarily energetically, that if you're not in control of what's happening, things can be taken from you. And I'm not talking about you getting robbed or set up or whatever. That shit can happen too. But part of being a masculine master is owning your energy. And besides your time, your energy is the most valuable element that you have. That's also a step towards owning your masculine mastery. Understanding that your time and your energy are the two most valuable things that you have. So, having said that, most high value, high level, mature masculine masters attain a high enough level of inbound vagina that they have sex when, why, how, and with whom they want to. Now, I'll speak more on this later, but it's kind of like, when you're in your younger years, and I'm talking about like between 18 and I'm going to say 25 or 26, it's like you've been trying to figure out the right suit fit, right? You're used to, wearing off the rack suits. But when you mature, when you develop your own style, when you come into your own, as far as, masculinity and especially, your sexual expression, it's like getting those tailored suits, getting those suits custom fit to your style, to your movements, to your size. It's the same mentality that a true masculine master is to take on when approaching the sexual space. Now, the first thing we need to understand, besides what we have as far as physicality, we have to know who we are as a person. What are our likes? What are our dislikes? What's our character? How do we operate under pressure? How do we operate when we're comfortable? Number two, what are the tools and our skill set tool chest? That'll come up later. And number three, what are the techniques that we need to apply to the sexual space in terms of sexual healing? One last thing before we go into it. Gentlemen, I'm going to reference a previous video that I posted in regards to how an alpha man sets up his roster and levels of the P. And I'm going to refer to the ride or die chick a lot in this particular podcast. So I'll link that down below. Go ahead and review that, because if you do not have a ride or die chick, go ahead and grab one or identify one within your roster, because there's a lot of fun to be had in learning and exploring this particular aspect of your sexuality, sexual healing. All right? That being said, let's get down to business.